Good evening. This is the Wild Women with Wine show. I'm Dr. Nancy. Hi, I'm back. Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy Sutton Pierce, and I'm waiting for Karen to join us for our Wild Women with Wine show tonight. We missed last week because of special circumstances. So I hope I see Bryson and some people popping in. Awesome. Waiting for Karen. How's everybody this week? And the last 2 weeks, I guess, we haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. There's Karen getting ready to join us. So we hope to have some fun tonight. I've got some good questions for Karen. So we'll see.
I want to know what special circumstances you're referring to.
Just really special ones.
Special circumstances,
What can I say? Special.
And how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you? You look
Hanging in there.
You look
Hanging in.
fabulous.
Just had a few injections here and there.
Yeah, so I might be jealous of what's going on over there.
I don't think so right now. I am drinking a little vino, so who knows what's going to happen.
Well, a little vino and whatever else you got on board, huh?
And hello to you guys. Good evening. Happy Thursday.
Cheers, S-H-I-T.
S-H-I-T?
Sure happy it's Thursday.
She's always that annoying. S-H-I-T. Sure happy it's Thursday. And then see you next Tuesday.
There you go. Hi. So
that's right. Injections. I got injections.
You look amazing.
Yes, thank you. It's also a different lighting too.
Is it?
I got a new little light.
Did you get a little one like I have?
Yeah, I think so, and it's kind of blinding me, so I might be turning it off very soon.
I know they're hard on the eyes. Although when you turn it off, it's like you disappear. So.
Yeah. So anyway, what's going on in the world of YouTube and Instagram today? We want to hear from you. Give us a little shout. Tell us who you are and where you're from and what's been happening and what's on your mind. And are you ready to get out of the house?
Does anybody have any travel planned? That's what I want to know.
I have travel planned.
Where are you going?
Chicago, that toddling town.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to Chicago in July because it's pretty much the only month that it's nice over there. Oh, we got people going from Austin, from Denver is here. Cool. And hi to Johnny Steve
from
Mohammed,
Germany.
Paul, legendary.
Somebody from Germany is with us tonight.
Oh, someone's going to Miami tomorrow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like that. Welcome to Miami. I've had some good times in Miami. Have you? Jennifer, hello. My boyfriend showed me your channel. We both live in Chicago. He's 26 and I'm 38. Ooh, I love that little age gap there, Jennifer.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Your boyfriend showed me your channel. Okay. I hope he showed you my podcast too.
Yeah.
Sex Talk with my mom.
I'm going to show you all of Karen.
Show it all. Show everything. It all. And then while you're there, meet Dr. Nancy Sutton Pierce. She's on her Instagram channel.
I love the way you say my name.
I know. It's sort of like RBG, NSP.
That's right. Got to have three names. Karenlee Poter. See?
Yeah.
You do the three.
KLP.
Yeah.
KLP going on here. Jennifer, do you agree with me about Chicago? Chicago's good weather about two or 3 months of the year, and that's about it. But when it's good, it's very good.
And when it's bad, it's horrid.
It's awful. Horrid, yeah. We're always interested in what people are saying about relationship between younger men and older women. Well, we say a lot, Jennifer. We say that combination works on a lot of different levels for many reasons. But yeah, it works. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. That there are many ways in which to create a relationship. And,
right.
I think we all just have to be really clear about what it is a relationship means to us. I was talking to someone today about the idea of marriage and the idea of, growing up and wanting to get married or be married. But we never really talk about what does that mean? What does that look like to you? how do you know? And my question is always, how do you know you want to be married without having a person that you want to be married to? It's like,
Yeah.
what would that marriage even look like? If you don't even have a person that you want to
True.
be with.
I guess you like little girls, I say little girls, maybe little boys too, have this vision of walking down the aisle. And that was a big letdown for me.
The whole aisle thing?
I was 23 years old. I had this huge 270 person wedding that I had no desire for. It was mostly friends of my parents and my husband's parents, and it was just not. It was overwhelming, and it was not what it should be. So anyway, I want to address something Jennifer just said that's interesting. She said this may be the most mature relationship I've ever been in, because men her own age are always so controlling. Oh, there goes the light. Falls right down. No, so much for the light. Anyway,
just put it under your chin.
Oh, I look like
like a flashlight.
I look like the Blair Witch Project right now. Woo!
Well, I think when you have a difference in age, there is a different level of, I think, respect for each other and curiosity about how the other person sees the world. There are no assumptions made.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it, because it's always going to be a little challenging in the sense that you grew up at different times and you might have experienced different parts of life that the other person hasn't, and it's kind of good to expose. Even just simple things as music.
Right.
Like my boyfriend and I have totally different tastes in music, but he turned me on to some music that I would never have been into. And it's a good thing. And he turned me on to some sports that I was never into. I turned him on to some theater he was never into. So, I mean, it could work out really well if both people are open-minded to learning about what makes the other people tick.
Exactly. I mean, you have to be curious in any relationship, right? You can't be just deciding, well, I know who my partner, I want them to be, so I'm going to create that with you. You just mold into who I want you to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Or manifest that person coming in on the horse.
That didn't work very well. So this is a good question. Why do women want to get married? For love or security?
Why do women want to get married, for love or security? Lock that dick down. No, I'm just kidding.
Own the dick. No, we can't own somebody else's dick. Isn't that silly?
I think it's equally for men and women. Some have this vision, like Nancy was saying, of this is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that necessarily is for you, but it might be for your parents. It might be for some other people. But, it is hard to get on the same page. And then even when you're married, that might be very fluid. It might change over the years.
Well, when you look at the fact that more marriages end in divorce than don't, you have to wonder about what is the mythology that we're teaching or passing down about marriage that isn't setting people up for success.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not to say that some marriages can't work out, because most of my friends, believe it or not, got married when I got married, which was when we were in our early 20s, and they're still together.
Yeah, but it's like 54% end in divorce. So it's more.
What about you guys? Are you I'm not even drunk. I swear I'm not drunk. I just, for some reason, I'm having technological difficulties here. I'm going to try this. I'm going with a different approach. So you go ahead and just ignore the Blair Witch Project that's going on over here.
Rick said earlier he'd love to party with us. Rick, you'd be a blast. So you should just join us on one of these times.
Yeah, you can party with us anytime. It's called Wild Women with Wine.
Thank you, Choctaw.
Oh, thank you, David.
Roy Ball. Thank you.
Sweet.
That's very sweet.
Let's see. I'm trying to put this on without blinding myself.
Blinded by the light.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk music, since we were on that subject.
Okay.
What do you listen? What kind of music do you listen to, Nance?
Well, one of my favorites as of late is indie.
Indie rock.
Mm-hmm.
That is
or indie pop. But I like a little bit funky music, and so I like, especially if I'm just bopping around the house or I'm working. I like music that kind of keeps me uplifted. And indie seems to be one of those.
It's funny that you say that. My son actually is, my younger son is doing a Spotify channel. It's called Jeremy's Jam Fest. He finds all the new indie music out there. So you might want to check out Jeremy's Jam Fest.
I'm going to do that. Jeremy's Jam Fest.
Jeremy's Jam Fest, which interestingly enough was the theme to his bar mitzvah. How do you like that?
I love it. So we've just been invited
it's very dark. I am extremely dark right now because I don't know what's going on with this light. It seems to have a life of its own. It seems to be moving on its own, falling off. Let's see.
Is it on a stand?
I'm putting it on a stand. The stand is falling down. Still look like the Blair Witch Project. All right. It's dark as it's very dark. No,
that's pretty good. Oh, yep.
Yeah, I'll just hold it here for the next hour.
It's like a candle.
It's like a candle. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna just have to be dark.
I think
it's actually better right now.
I think we should do a show by candlelight sometime. I think that'd be fun.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Jennifer, you like jazz funk, rock, fusion. That's cool. Jazz funk. Like, give me an example of which band would play jazz funk, rock, fusion. And by the way, speaking of Jeremy's Jam Fest, I'm going to be on Mother's Day with my box of 45 records that I have somehow toted with me since the days of 45s.
Wow.
And I'm picking 10 of my favorite songs from the 60s and 70s, starting with like Sugar Sugar, and my number one favorite is Venus. I'm your Venus.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Fire. Yeah, by Shocking Blue, a one-hit wonder.
I'm impressed.
Impressive. So anyway, what about you folks out there? Oh, so Jennifer's boyfriend is also Jewish. We got a lot in common there, Jennifer. Please, Karen, do cougars see a 32-year-old guy?
Do they?
Do they? They see him.
Do they?
They see him. They love him. They're all good. Pretty much. I mean, I don't think you should judge anybody by, their age. I think age is a number, and so let it go.
Yeah. So I was asked if I was married. Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, Nancy's married. Oh, this guy. This is a funny response here. If I don't screw everything up when I'm trying. Oh, it was so funny. No, I can't get it again. This stuff goes by too fast, and then I can't get the slider. Oh, here. Okay. Stratus Strong says, Vlad the Impaler got married for love in his first marriage, which was rare in the 1400s.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
He got married in the 1400s, and oh, anyway, I think it's time for us to bring out the cards.
Okay. All right. So I've got some truth or dare cards in front of me. That I've got some truths that I want to ask.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know if we've done this before. Tell me if we have. Tell me about your first time. So because we are in the sexology field, we don't use the term virgin anymore, since that's a social construct. It's not a real thing. Hymens aren't a real thing about telling whether you've had sex or not, and you can have anal sex up the wazoo and still think you're a virgin, right? So it's a bunch of hoo-ha.
Anal sex up the wazoo. That's a Nancyism. You can have anal sex up the wazoo, but you're still a virgin. And I heard that I have heard that some girls think, I don't know why I say girls,
they do
that they're a virgin if they did not have vaginal sex. They can have anal sex, oral sex, and everything else, but they feel like they're not a virgin.
I had a girl.
I mean, it is like a mental state, virginity. It's just like, have you ever been penetrated by a dick, I guess.
But if it's going up your butt, you've been penetrated. So.
Right.
I mean, those holes are very close together. Sometimes you miss.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you do miss.
So anyway, so we're not going to.
Thank you, legendary. Good evening.
We're going to encourage and educate people about letting go of that whole idea of virginity, and we're going to call it your sexual debut. So
My sexual debut could have happened when I was 11, by the way.
it could have or did?
I don't know. I mean, if you count when you went to slumber parties with your girlfriends, feeling each other's boobs, I mean, I suppose I started my sexual journey when I was like 11. You don't consider that to be?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think you can consider it whenever you want.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys think? What does it mean? You are a very, very late bloomer. Jennifer, let me ask you something, Jennifer. When you say you're a late bloomer, does that mean you like didn't have like penis vagina sex? Because I guess if you want to think of it only as penetration, then I was a late bloomer too. I was 19, if that means late bloomer. But I did everything else but before then.
I don't think that's a late bloomer. I think actually more people wait until their late teens to be sexual, have penetrative sex, than ever would admit it.
Well, back when we were having penetrative sex, back in the 1930s,
back in the 1930s.
Back in the 1930s. Back when I was
damn, you look good. You look really good.
I had a lot of great injections. They made me look great. Back in the day in the 1930s, when I was a virgin or a person that hadn't been penetrated into my vagina by a penis, I was old at 19. A lot of my friends said, "You better get going with this because this is late." A lot of peer pressure.
So here's the question: how old was the youngest man you were ever in a relationship with? Let's see.
I get that every freaking time.
15, because I was 15.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, really?
I never understand that question. I really don't. I don't know why. And I ask people why they like to ask that question. Now I'll repeat it for YouTube. How old is the youngest guy you've ever been in a relationship, or how old would you go? And I think it's some guy said that's what they want to know.
They're 18 and they're fishing to see if they've got a chance with you.
Yeah, 18-year-olds probably don't have a chance with anybody in my book because of the fact that your brain is still not formed.
Maybe a 17-year-old.
17? No, that's no. Dash and me met through the music scene. I'm nowhere near old enough to be a cougar. Yes, you are. Cougar is a confident, older, unique, genuine, assertive, and racy woman. And you said you're 30-something? That's old enough.
Yeah, for a
medium, fun, attractive older woman is usually
for a 22-year-old. That 30-year-old is definitely a cougar.
Well, yeah, she is with someone who's younger.
Yeah,
I don't remember the date. I don't remember the days you said.
Yeah.
You didn't have your first orgasm until you were 30.
Oh,
jeez.
Well,
you better catch up. You're gonna make up for lost time right now.
That's far more common than we'd like to know. Is how often women don't have orgasms. I've met women in their 60s and 70s that have never had an orgasm. So many.
I hope they're making up for lost time now.
Oh, well, I turn them on to some really fun toys. So
yeah,
gap should be plus 5 years. Either plus or minus 5 years.
It doesn't. There's no should.
I don't know that there's a rule. Going to Desire in June. Should I be COVID concerned? Be vaccinated before you go, and you'll find that most people that are traveling out of the country that are conscious are vaccinated. But take somebody that you can make sure is vaccinated that you can play with. Don't be switching it up too much.
That's a good call. I like that idea.
Are you 22 girls cougars? I think
it's supposed to be 2 girls. Are you 2 girls cougars? And we are, by my definition of a confident person. I mean, that's the only thing I can say is we definitely are confident, and that is what I would consider the main quality of being a cougar. Because I don't really like the word MILF. I don't like single hot mom or hot MILF or hot wife or all the other shit that people label people as. So that's the only reason the first time I heard the word cougar in reference to me was I was like walking into a Bulls game, and so I hear these guys go, "Oh, there's a cougar." I'm like, how the hell did they know that? They spotted me with a radar. Like, cougar, like
a beacon. So J. Smith, switching it up is a large part of the fun. I mean, if you're a swinger and you're going to a swinger place, or you're planning to swing, look for people that have been vaccinated. That's all I would just suggest, because
Yeah.
people, that you have to do the due diligence with anybody you're going to play with, where you've been, who you've been with, how safe have you been, when did you get tested. Well, the COVID is the same thing. So just switch it up to the COVID conversation, add them both in.
Add that to the list
Add
of
that to the list.
questions that you need to bring with you.
Yeah.
You walk in with a hazmat suit. That's what I recommend. Completely covered from head to toe, maybe a little hole over here.
So Jason,
Jennifer, oh my goodness. She said that she was a very late bloomer. She didn't she thought maybe I was a lesbian for the longest time because I didn't have an orgasm until after 30. Jennifer,
you're just you're a common typical woman. Sorry.
You're a common typical woman who unfortunately missed out on a lot of years, but I'm sure you make it up for it now. Once you get the idea of the orgasm, it doesn't really have to do with penetration. It has more to do with manipulation of your own clit. Then you can take responsibility and not have to be with any person, basically.
And most women and girls do not orgasm their first orgasm with just penetrative sex. I mean, 70-80% don't.
I don't remember. I mean, there's very few times that I was able to have an orgasm without having my clit stimulated. It's very few times. It really is like for a guy trying to have an orgasm without having their dick touched.
Right.
It's hard.
Let's just play with your balls and your.
We're gonna play with your balls.
And
we're gonna tickle your nipples, and you're gonna have an orgasm.
Right. Because the penis and the clitoris are the same exact tissue. So
are you guys able to hear that? The penis and the clit are the same exact tissue. They're
same exact nerves.
The same thing.
Same exact everything.
So they need to be
different
stroked.
Configuration. They need to be massaged.
They need to be massaged.
Yeah.
We had a very interesting talk yesterday on my podcast, which I highly recommend everybody listen to, with Dr. Ian Kerner, who wrote a book. Oh yeah, he's great. And he was talking about, he just wrote a book called So Tell Me About the Last Time You Had Sex. And I read the book. It's fabulous. And what he talks about is that after a while, couples get into routines. And what he does when he gets a couple in there that kind of their sex is kind of stale and unsatisfactory for one partner or the other, he tries to get them to do a sex script for the evening or for the day or whatever it is. And I actually gave him my sex script, which I had, and you can kind of watch some of that stuff on on Instagram. On Instagram, Sex Talk with My Mom, because I kind of was very vulnerable, and I actually told him like the way I have sex with my partner. And I think I got an A.
That's awesome.
I got an A. I think the main takeaway I got out of the book is that even if you're married, especially if you're married, or especially if you've been with one partner for a long time, it's super important to change it up and to bring in fantasy and playfulness to your relationship.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, it is going to get like boring and routine, and you have to add some spice to it.
I think one of the kisses of death is to have a sex routine that you can, it's like, it's totally predictable. One of the things that human beings truly desire is some novelty periodically. And so if you can create that novelty within your relationship, start off in a different room, in a different position with clothes on, go under the clothes, do it while you're making dinner. I mean, be playful all over the house. It's sex. If we wait for sex to be in the bed at 11 p.m. every Saturday, it's going to be a snooze fest.
Well, he did say it's good to have like some rituals, like if you have sex every Sunday night or whatever it is, it's good to have that, so you're at least going to have minimally that night of sex.
Sex dates, yeah.
Sex dates. It's good to have that ritual. But and also there might be different parts of sex that are more routine. Like you might just switch up the beginning. He likes to think of it as 3 parts, beginning, middle, and end. And you might just switch up the first 2 parts and still end up with the same routine as the last. Because he said, like, me and my boyfriend are kind of like on a, like, we have a dance.
Yeah.
And I liked it. Anyway, listen to Sex Talk with My Mom podcast. You'll hear the whole thing. Like I said, I got consultation from the doctor. And then my son got a consultation from the doctor because he was in a completely different space than I am, being that he wants to go out and just get laid right now. So he got some good information on that. So I think it covers both spectrums.
Nice to see you here, Sensual Domination Fantasies, and thank you for your comment about starting before the bedroom. Yes, that's very critical.
Hello to Karen. Nat is a new subscriber. Love watching your videos on spreading positive and speaking the truth. I love older women, and they are the most attractive women on this earth, 50 and over.
Yeah.
Here, Jen.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, I love
Cheers
it. I love hearing it. I do love hearing that. I love hearing that when you get to be a certain age, you're not like discarded. Like, even there's so many women that just feel like they're not important after they turn a certain age, or they're not sexy, or guys will not like them anymore, or they're just grandmas.
Well, and I've told you my story, but becoming a grandmother so young, it flipped me a little bit about, okay, well, what am I supposed to be feeling? Am I supposed to not be sexy anymore? I'm sitting here rocking a baby that's my grandchild, for God's sake. It's like,
when you were like 40 or something.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my gosh, how do we process these roles that we've been given that are precious, but then realize that we're still a whole, vital, curious, girly human being,
Right. So, how do you, oh my God, Roomba, go home. The Roomba just went on its own. It just turned on. Hey, Alexa, send Roomba home. Roomba's coming in to visit us here.
Does your Alexa boss your Roomba?
Apparently. Somehow Alexa decided to send Roomba to clean up this mess that I made over here.
Hey, do you ever have your Alexas just talk to you out of the sudden, just kind of start chatting with you? And
because usually I'll say something that has like similar type of tone, and then I love that. This is my bad technology today. Okay, Jennifer has her role playing. She pretends to be hookers trading off that role. It's a turn on because both of us are the furthest thing from being a prostitute. We do name calling, but only in the bedroom.
Okay.
I love that. I say go for that. Anything that makes it fun and interesting and sexy and hot. I mean, why not? There are no rules.
Right.
As long as both people are into it. If one of them is not consenting, that's another story. But if everybody's consenting, why not?
Consensual, whatever is cool. Yeah. With adults.
So someone else has got flashed up photography, has the same situation. The Roomba gets on my nerves. Roomba won't go home.
So Brady had a question about handling your mental state if it's been a long time since you've had sex.
Can you what?
How do you handle your mental state if it's been a long time since you've been sexual?
Listen to the podcast. I'm telling you, we go into that because I know that my son is in that same situation because of COVID. Everyone's kind of stuck in the house,
right?
Or just nervous about being physically touched.
Sure.
I gotta send Roomba home. I'll be right back. You entertain our guests.
All right, you go take care of your robot. All right. So Brady, apparently Karen's got some really cool stuff on her new podcast, which I highly, I know you'll listen to. And I think the other thing is, you have to kind of be your best lover. You have to keep your sexuality going in the midst of dry spells with other people. So make sure you have your own time to touch yourself and to fantasize without porn. Let your imagination take you to a place that's erotic and pleasurable. If you can use your hands, but you can also put gloves on your hands, like rubber gloves or other kinds of gloves, and to touch yourself so it feels different and unique. Use different kinds of lubes. Put music on. Really, you have to kind of be your best lover and imagine what it will be like when you're with a partner next time.
and by the way, interestingly enough, Dr. Ian Kerner said, use porn as long as it's ethical porn. Ethical porn.
Well, I think some people are using porn only.
Right.
And so I think of it, if it's like you want to keep some variety, because when there's a real person there, if you become so used to having
or dependent, yeah.
porn, and I don't even like to use the word dependent because that makes it seem like an addiction, and you know,
Yeah.
we have to be careful with those terms. But if you're just used to something and then there's something new, it can jolt you. So that's why it's important to kind of mix it up so that you know you understand that this is just another of a variety of experiences you can have. Robbie did his homework. He just listened to She Comes First on his walks this last weekend. Great book. Yes, that's a great book.
Yeah, if you like that, we interviewed him on that book too. That's in the episode 200 and something on Sex Up. So we talked to him then for She Comes First, and then we talked to him about his latest book. And yeah, I mean, that's it. Those books, by the way, if you read them together, they can get you real horny too.
Well, and Sensual Domination Fantasies just recommended read a sexy story. It's easier to blend into a fantasy. So that way you can use your own imagination. You're not being fed all the visuals. You get to create them in your own mind, in your own, you can plug yourself into those.
Yeah. I guess oral stories are getting really popular right now. There's a company called Dipsy.
Like oral sex stories, or?
Yes, it's called Dipsy, DIPSEA. I think if you mention code MOM, you get a free month or something like that. You should check it out, DIPSEA. They're like actual stories using actors to play the different parts. And so you can use your creativity in your mind to visualize as opposed to like watching it, you know, on the screen.
So this person wants to know, okay, so please tell us how close to reality is what they show in porn. Not at all.
No, I'm friendly with a few porn stars. They can say it's entertainment, it's not educational. Do not think of it as anything besides entertainment.
Unless you find couples that are creating their own porn in their bedroom, oftentimes it'll bore you, but it is real because you can't see anything because they're so engrossed in what they're doing. They're not doing camera angles and lighted shots, and they don't stop to get the good view. They're enjoying it.
But that might be what some people are into, just watching.
Right. So if you're a voyeur, look for people that are just really having real sex.
Yep. Let's see. I'm sorry, I missed a lot of these. I think I came to the realization that I don't like women anymore. Why? What happened there, Kravansky?
So what are our ages? What does it matter?
Again, with the ages. Oh my God, my 26-year-old boyfriend has such a huge sexual appetite. We have literally gone in all day, only taking short breaks.
Yeehaw.
I hear you. I hear you, Jennifer. Yeah, you go, girl. Believe me, the reason that's so nice though is because a guy that's in his 20s like that he's reaching his peak, okay? Whereas a woman doesn't really peak until she's a lot of times in 30s and 40s, maybe in our beyond. In some people's cases, 60s.
Yeah.
So it works really well if you can get, two people that are on the same page.
Now, I have a different opinion about when men peak, because I think we can talk about a biological or physiologic peak, like how frequently and how long you can have an erection. Okay, that's one thing, but that's not necessarily a peak in sexual.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking of. Right? I was not thinking in terms of peaking with erection. I was thinking in terms of interest in sex. Like the hormones are just raging when they're in their late teens and early 20s. I mean, at least that's how it was when I was in those early 20s. I mean,
I think men become much better lovers as they mature.
well, because they've had experience and they're learning,
Yeah.
and they're, the more people that they have in their toolkit, then the more they can use those techniques if they remember what they did. Because
Yeah, and I think
all people are snowflakes. We all are different. We all like different things. So,
right.
Maybe one girl likes her nipples pinched, whereas another one said, "Yeah, don't touch my nipples."
Right.
So you
And
gotta
I think
communicate.
we have to remember we're not just genitals. We're a body, a mind, and a spirit. And so when you're starting to learn about human beings and human sexuality, you realize that people want to connect on more than just the genital level. And that
Right.
when you're just full of first exploring sexuality, that's all you can really think about, because that's what's driving. That's the driving force. It's really for procreation, so that we make babies when we're young and vital, right? But as humans evolve, we become more interested in the full body mind connection experience, and those body mind spirit orgasms. And so you start to learn that it isn't just about the penis and what the penis does. It's about the whole person.
I thought it was just about the vagina.
No, it's about the clitoris.
Good point. I thought it was about the vulva. The whole thing.
It's the vulva. It's the whole vulva.
All right.
I love that word. It sounds like velvet.
Velvet, vulva. Let's see. I like when people say for penis owners and for vulva owners. I'm like, come on. I guess I'm a vulva owner. I'm a vagina owner. I don't have a lot of other parts because that's all been taken out.
Oh, jeez.
TMI
I still have my elbows.
Got the elbows still, but all the other stuff, the parts are missing. I prefer older women. They're more mature, know what they want. This is true. This is all true.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need another woman to help me with my guy's outrageous sexual appetite. I don't mind sharing him in a threesome at all. Oh, you know what?
Go for it.
Go for it. If you're comfortable in that, just come back and share your story with us.
I mean, that if one person has a bigger appetite than the other, that's really the best way to handle it, right?
It totally is. Yeah.
Have reinforcements.
And
okay.
I've had over the years discussions about that, the whole cuckolding and all that other stuff. And a lot of people just don't even understand the concept of that some people can get turned on or even just be happy for their partner who is exploring their sexuality in the way they want to do it, because they have this mindset of, it's my wife. She should not be having sex with anybody but me. It's this whole ownership thing that's like not even, it doesn't even make sense if you really think about it. Biologically, we're not programmed that way, like the monkeys, the bonobos. We're not supposed to be just completely monogamous. I mean, we're attracted to novelty. We can be, and at certain times, you are definitely going to be there, but at other times you might want to change things up and try new stuff. I
mean, it's we really have to be more fluid in our ideas of designer relationships, because there isn't just one design. There's been polygamy since the beginning of time. There have been threesomes since the beginning of time, orgies since the beginning of time, homosexuality since the beginning of time. So it's not like we're inventing any of this stuff. We're just becoming more conscious about it, perhaps, and maybe talking about it more openly now than they did maybe 100 years ago. But there have been times before us, say the Greek era,
where it was all homosexuality,
it was a frenzy, right?
Yeah.
Homosexuality was just part of their day. I mean,
there's a guy, I'll go fuck him.
Right. Well, all the guys at war had young, hot men that they could have sex with out at the war, because women were supposed to.
What are they going to do?
Right.
And maybe that's why they're in a lot better mood.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that it works for everyone, because I mean, it just may not be the thing for you in your relationship. If there's other issues going on, if one of the two tends to get jealous or insecure, all that's got to be sorted out before you jump into another relationship with other people.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
I don't necessarily, in my experience as a counselor, I've seen people that have tried to start off relationships in the swinging lifestyle or the open
Oh
lifestyle.
no, bad idea.
It's a much more difficult to establish a bond between the two
Right.
people before expanding out, because there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of kind of jealousy and insecurities that can arise. So if you don't have a solid base,
Right. You
have
have to have a
nothing really
solid
to hang on
foundation
to.
of the house.
Right.
The house has to have a solid foundation.
Right.
If it's moving around, it could get dicey. Depending on your view also about sex, maybe your relationship's not so solid, but your sexual relationship is solid. So, I mean, it could work out, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments going on over here that I'm just not able to address because they're going so quickly.
Okay.
David says, I never do threesomes and it hasn't crossed my mind. So it's perfectly fine. I mean,
you're not broken if you think about it, and you're not broken if you don't think about it.
it's true. And yeah, you can also fantasize about it too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean,
I don't want to get into religious tangents, but
one of the best ways to have the safest, most secure threesome is to buy a Sybian, because that Sybian can be as a third person for your female partner.
well, we will need to describe what the Sybian is because not everybody has one, Nancy.
Well, okay. So a Sybian, Sybian, if you want to look it up, is this.
I wish I had a code, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a code either.
You got to get a code.
I need to get a code. Just tell Bunny Dr. Nancy sent you. So, but a Sybian is like it's like a saddle that you sit on that plugs into the wall, and it has a wide variation of vibration and the option of things that penetrate. And so it's incredibly powerful. I mean, it can really blow the top of your head off. I gotta warn you. Should come with a warning. May ruin you for a few days.
May ruin you for a few days, and may ruin you for a few men.
Oh God. But if your partner has this fantasy about watching you have sex without actually being,
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, and also not only you don't even need the Sybian. Just get one of these incredibly wonderful vibrators that are out on the market now. There are so many cool ones, some that even like help with the Kegel muscles. We have one product, it's called Pour Moi, Pourmoi. Again, I think if you use code MIND, you get a huge discount. And what it does, it's got one part, it looks like a typical vibrator, but it's not, it's so much better because it actually trains the Kegel muscles to tighten up. It's really cool. It's like,
or you could just have more orgasms, because.
Or you can definitely have more orgasms because it also has the part that hits the clit. So it has both.
Because an orgasm
creates
Kegeling. So
it's got good Kegel. You definitely, as you get older too, and women especially, need a little extra help finding those Kegels and getting them exercised. It's like a personal trainer for your Kegel muscles. Or some people say Kegel.
Kegel?
You say Kegel?
Kegel. It's
Kegel. Yeah.
So here's something. Somebody had a experience with a woman. She wanted to record him in the middle of the event, and it turned him off. So
it turned him off.
What you experienced was called stage fright.
Yeah,
that's pretty common. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with
it? It happens a lot to male porn stars, by the way.
But that's a conversation you need to have before the event to see if you're comfortable with this person. Do you trust what this person's going to do with this recording? I mean, that I can see definitely that could create a real in the event.
Has anybody got off on their partner filming them? I have. Of course. You have. I mean, just like she said, the main thing to make sure.
But it has to be consensual, right?
Yeah. First of all, it was. She asked him, kind of. I don't know.
Well, but when you ask somebody in the middle of the event, that's like starting to fuck somebody and saying, "Can I fuck you?"
Yeah, yeah.
That's a conversation that needs to happen before you get hot and bothered.
Yeah. I have two questions for you. Can I fuck you, and can I film it?
Right.
So it's not everyone wants to be filmed, but it's true. I got to tell you something. I I think it was on Facebook years ago when Facebook first was popular. And one of these guys said he was so angry at his girlfriend for fucking around that he took a sex tape of her and put it on Facebook.
Okay, that's called revenge porn, and it's a felony.
For a whole day, it was up there.
Don't do that. Don't do
No,
that.
I mean, even forget the legalities. The ethical part of it is what kind of an asshole. Yeah. To me, that he went out and did this showed every woman to stay away from him. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad. Don't do that. I mean, I'm just saying, don't do that. That's like the cruelest, lowest.
Don't do that.
Lowest.
Don't film anybody without their consent, and even if you get the consent, don't.
Yeah, that's shit.
That's the reason that I think it's scary. Karen, I'm not sure if this is your area, but have you been following the story about the allegations against Marilyn Manson? I did hear, and I can refresh my memory because, yeah, somebody just told me something about that, and I don't remember. Okay, so Jennifer, she records the sex we have and deleted immediately after watching it. That's fun.
Yeah.
By the way, so I have this very sexy tape of myself and my boyfriend, but it's on like the little tapes that we don't have the machine to play it anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of worthless.
So there's two things I want to address here. One is I have a girlfriend and I'm straight, but sometimes I feel the need to be fucked by another man. You're bi. That's okay. That's being bisexual. You're curious. You're bi-curious. It doesn't mean you're gay.
He's asking, is that normal? Yes, it's normal. It's totally not everybody's going to admit that.
Yeah. I mean, people have fantasies about all kinds of different things, but if you want to actually act on it, that's okay. I mean, you're a sexual being. You don't have to have a label as straight, gay, bi, whatever. We all have kind of a fluidity, and sometimes it's coincidental how our sexuality happens.
I 100% agree with you. I think that because of the stigma about, especially during our generation too, men would be like, "You're gay, you're a fag, you're this, you're that,"
right.
And
we use it as a criticism, right?
Yeah, as some sort of like a put down, right. And it's bullshit because totally. And again, you might just want to fantasize about being with. I mean, read women's fantasies like My Secret Garden. I mean, there's a whole chapter on women fantasizing about other women. I mean, there's a whole chapter about women fantasizing about animals. I mean, you can fantasize about anything, just as long as maybe you don't act out something that's not consensual, like don't go fucking a sheep or something without getting consent.
Giving consent.
Bah.
What does that mean? Can you translate sheep? Okay, so here's a guy that I know a guy who hooked with his girlfriend and secretly recorded it on his webcam. Ooh, bad news. I mean, I guess if he did that and he didn't tell anybody about it and he just kept it for his own use, whatever. But obviously he told you he did that. So what's that about?
The whole thing. Here's what I got also. I think about sex. I think you have to really feel totally safe and comfortable with your partner before you should be doing anything sexual, because you're not going to be able to, as a female, you can't relax and have an orgasm if you're not feeling safe and you're feeling like someone is going to do something that hurts you. So just make sure that you're making your partner feel safe.
Both ways. I've had some interesting conversations with men about how often they fake orgasms.
More often than not.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody on here fake an orgasm?
Nobody's going to admit
it. And honestly, I'm just curious as to why you do that. I know we've talked before about, like, sometimes people fake an orgasm so they can just get it done with. I'll just fake it. I don't believe in that because I'm such a communicator. I just don't want anybody thinking that that's the way I get off.
Right. I think sometimes people fake orgasm not because they're trying to manipulate somebody else, but because they think it's expected of them.
Right.
And they're worried about the disappointment that the other person's going to experience if they don't.
But again, they need to communicate. If they communicate, they won't worry about it. They could say, I'm just not there. I drank a couple glasses of wine. I got whiskey clipped. I can't have an orgasm tonight.
I have not heard that before. I've heard of whiskey dick. I've never translated it to whiskey clit.
It makes sense. Whiskey clit, right?
I love it.
Yeah. So if you got whiskey clit, you're not going to do it, right?
That's precious.
So you just tell that to your partner. I got whiskey dick. I got whiskey clit. It's not you. It's me. Don't get all your fucking feathers in a tizzy over the whole thing. It's not that big of a fucking deal. If you don't come, you still had fun.
After you've played and somebody says, did you come? It's like, if you can't tell, you don't deserve.
Well, sometimes I think it is sometimes, especially like if the guy is inside of you, he doesn't 100% know because maybe he's focusing on his own coming and she's not sure that you came or not. You know, it can get a little mixed up sometimes, especially if you've got a vibrator going on at the same. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that's going on down there.
It's a lot of action.
A lot of action going on. Sometimes you're not 100% sure. Who are these fake orgasm men? They need to call me for counseling. It is sacrilegious. LOL. You're right there, Brady. Jennifer, I've been sitting here and reading your messages, and damn, I'm jealous of your man. Oh, Jennifer is the one who's been with a young guy who's ready for action. I used to fake orgasm because I had never had one. Yeah, Jennifer, are you glad? Are you glad that you don't have to fake it anymore? That you can see. I don't like faking orgasms mainly because it's like training your dog. When I'm training my dog, I'm not going to say, okay, you can go on the pee on the couch, you know, and think that that's okay. No, you got to teach him, don't pee on the couch. Just like you got to teach a guy, stop rubbing you really hard because you're not going to orgasm that way. And if you fake an orgasm, they're going to think the next time they're with you, I'm going to rub really hard.
So there's two parts to that comment you just said that I'd like to address. One is we definitely do encourage people to speak their truth and ask for what they want in a way that can be received by the other. But the other is for the partners that's being asked, put your fucking ego away and stop getting defensive when they tell you what they want. You don't know their body. They're telling you, they're teaching you, they're giving you the blueprint. So be grateful.
Be grateful that someone is saying to you, I can't, this is not how I can come.
Yeah.
And stop getting defensive because you're not able, you know, and sometimes it's going to take you a while just to get in the rhythm and to get the exact pressure and everything else.
Well, and
the more you talk, the better it's going to be.
She might be different today than she was yesterday. You aren't the boss of her body.
Right.
So you
and also, at the same token, for a woman to blame the guy because he can't make her come is wrong too. Because it's really about the girl coming. So say, you know, you guys are having a great time and then you're like, you know, this is going to take a while. What I would do is I say, hey, go watch some TV, go to sleep, or help me here because I'm about to pull out a vibrator and do the rest myself. Which he's glad to do. That's okay
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull out the
it doesn't
vibrator.
Always have to be like I come, you come, we come. It doesn't have to be in a certain order.
No. And I think that if a woman has never had an orgasm and she's waiting for a guy to give her an orgasm, how the hell, if you can't give yourself one, how the hell you think he's gonna?
Right. So first fix you.
That's setting him up for failure.
It's like having this beautiful Porsche and needing an owner's manual and learning how to drive it, and you don't give the person your owner's manual, so they got this Porsche that's sitting there not being used.
And you don't even give them the key.
You don't even give him the key. And he's and this is a frustrating thing for him too, because he's got this great car there they can't even use.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else?
Use more lube. So
wetter is better.
Wetter is better.
I truly believe Uber lube is every day.
I tried to fuck from another man, but I feel very pain, and second time very painful. What should I, more lube, more time, more preparation, more
foreplay,
teasing, more foreplay, more excitement, more anticipation, more.
Yeah,
more
don't pleasure. You know what? don't even have sex until you're try not having sex for the couple next time you're together with this person, and having them just like massage you and stuff like
Just
that, and
find
stop short of having sex.
pleasure.
Don't do
Just
it.
focus on pleasure. So Natasha says, I don't want to go to class. This is interesting.
I'm glad. We're about to end soon too.
This
So
is
get your
school.
questions in.
This is the only school you need.
This is the school of fucking life, kid.
Fucking.
You know, this is better education than you're ever going to find anywhere. Unfortunately, that's just not taught the right way.
So I
have 8 inches.
Another question for you. So tantric sex, silly or amazing?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Why would it be silly?
I don't know.
My ex-wife trained me very well as a good, obedient dog. I could not come if she didn't allow me to come.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Oh, I like that.
Thanks for sharing.
She took out that whip. She's like, no coming until I come.
So
that's why Ian Kerner's book, She Comes First. That's what it means.
We have fans from Iraq. Thank you.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That is really cool. I'm watching Fauda right now, and I'm like loving this Middle Eastern drama going on.
What is it?
Fauda, F-A-U-D-A, set in Israel. Good show. Anybody watch it? A lot of subtitles, just FYI.
So Karen, how can people find your podcast that you just did?
Oh, my podcast is called Sex Talk with My Mom. And we just put it out yesterday. Ian's book just came out yesterday. So I suggest you go check out Ian Kerner, the latest book called So Tell Me About the Last Time You Had Sex. You'll hear a lot about mine and my son's sex life. So it's got to be a winner, right?
Got to be a winner.
And tell me about what's going on in your lovely life for the people to reach you.
Well, go to my website because I have an incredible event coming up for singles in Jamaica.
You guys, listen up, singles in Jamaica.
Yeah, we have a few rooms left, but the rooms have sold great. We've got probably about 60 people going to Jamaica for a week at the end of June 26th through July 3rd.
Wow.
It's about women's empowerment, but we also do a lot of work with men, single men, married men, not confused men.
And you're going to be there, I'm assuming.
I will be the teacher. And
so if you like this, just imagine what it'll be like to be with Nancy in Jamaica as your teacher for a whole week.
In the nude.
Guaranteed to see her in scantily clad outfits.
Naked, probably.
If she's even going to wear outfits.
Yeah. I do have some outfits, but I mean, it's a clothing optional place, and I love to be clothing optional. So
yeah. So,
but it's an incredibly empowering week for both men and women and non-binary people too. It's really about human empowerment and speaking your truth and being able to hear the truth of others in a loving way. It's a very diverse group. So we have people from all walks of life. It's a fairly young group. So, you know, but that's cool. Doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, we really, it's the most non-judgmental, open-minded, free-spirited, loving group I have ever been affiliated with.
And that says a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, with that, I'm going to say adieu.
Okay.
Do you do? Both of us have Patreon pages, you guys.
Yes.
patreon.com. It's a way that you can support us because, like you see right here, we're doing a lot of work here and giving you a lot of great info. And the way you can pay us back, so to speak, is being one of our fans, which is at our Patreon page. So you go to patreon.com/Dr. Nancy.
It supports our work in Karenlee.
And patreon.com/Karenlee, that would be me. If you support both of us, you'll get to see some content that's nowhere else on the internet, hopefully.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee it. You may sometimes you find some of mine on dating sites that I have nothing to do with. If you do see those, please tell me about it so I can take them down.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been fun talking to you all. We haven't had one moment of time when we haven't had something to say. So glad Nancy is so much nicer than Dr. Laura.
Oh. Thank you.
I think so too. I do. Thank you, Brady. Great show, ladies. Thank you both for helping me. No badges. No badges? What does that mean, no badges?
Oh, I didn't do the